welcome to another GCSE revision video, and in this video we're going to be looking at box and whisker plots. A box and whisker plot is a simple and convenient way to display the median, interquartile range and the range in a single diagram. Okay, so a box and whisker plots unsurprisingly consists of a box and some lines that look a bit like cat's whiskers. The whiskers are lines that go from the edge of the box to the minimum and maximum values respectively. And of course the difference between the maximum and the minimum is the range. So the length of the entire diagram, from the one whisker all the way through to the top of the next whisker, that will give you the range. Turning our attention to the box, the edges of the box represent the lower quartile and the upper quartile, and the entire length of the box represents the interquartile range. And the line somewhere down the middle of the box will represent the median value. We can use box and whisker charts to very quickly display an awful lot of data. Okay, so we have our temperatures for our various dates. What we're going to do to compress that data is get the maximum temperature, the minimum temperature, the median temperature, the lower quartile and the upper quartile. So on the 25th of February, these hypothetical temperatures all nicely fit into an ordered list. So our maximum temperature here is 4 degrees C, and because these are temperatures and therefore measurements and therefore continuous data, our maximum temperature is actually the largest number that will round down to 4 degrees C. So I'm going to say this is 4.5 degrees C. So that's the upper bound of the maximum temperature. And our minimum temperature then will be the lower bound of the minimum temperature, which is 1 degree C. So that's 0.5. which is the smallest number that will round up to 1 degree C. Now to find the median, what we can do is, there's two ways to find the median. The easiest or the quickest way, if you've got a lot of data, is to count up how much data you've got. So in this case we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 elements in our data set. Add 1 and that makes 9, and then divide by 2 and that makes 4.5. so it's going to be between the 4th and the 5th data element. So our 1, 2, 3, 4, so this would be our 4th and this would be our 5th, so it's going to be between 3 degrees C and 3 degrees C, so that's just 3 degrees C. Now our lower quartile is effectively the median of the lower half. So if we take the first half, so we've got 1, 2, 3, 4. So our first 4, and then we look for the median. And another way to find the median is to cross off the first and last. And then you can cross off the next first and last and next first and last until you get to the one in the middle. Since we've got 2 in the middle, it's going to be the halfway point between these two numbers. So it's halfway between 2 degrees C and 2 degrees C, so that's just 2 degrees C. And the same for the upper quartile. We just take the second half of our data and find the median value of the second half of the data. So again we cross off the first and last, and we're looking for something that's halfway between 3 degrees C and 4 degrees C, so that's 3.5 degrees C. So we can do the same for our next set of data. This is not in order though, because you've got 2 degrees, 2 degrees, 1 degree, so we have to move this 1 degree C up to where the other 1 degree C are to put these in order. So putting them in order, we've got 1, 2, 3 zeros, 1, 2, 3 ones and 2 twos. Now I'm just going to copy that data because we're going to need it again. Okay, so to get the median, we can cross off the first and the last, and the first and the last, and the first and the last. So this is the other way of getting the median if you've got a small amount of data. So we've got 2 left in the middle, so it's going to be halfway between 1 and 1, so the median is going to be 1. Oh, I forgot to look at our maximum and minimum. So our maximum is 2 degrees C, so the largest number that will round down to 2 is 2.5. And the smallest number that will round up to 0 is negative 0.5. So we've got our median, which is 1. Our lower quartile, we're looking for the first half of the data. So there's 8 pieces of data, so I've chopped it into 2 groups of 4, and so we're looking for halfway between the first 2 and the second 2, so it's between 0 and 0, so that's going to be 0, and our upper quartile is going to be halfway between the 1 and the 2, so that's 1.5. And we can use the same methods to do the 27th, 28th and the 1st, but I'm not going to bore you with that, I've already done that earlier. And in the best tradition of television and YouTube blogs, here's one I made earlier. So when we come to display our data, we just draw our box and whiskers, with the whisker going from the maximum value down to the upper quartile, then a line showing the upper quartile and a line showing the lower quartile, and we make that into a box. Draw a line in the box that represents the median, and then we take our final whisker drawing from the lower quartile down to the lowest or minimum value. So when you see, especially in scientific journals, box and whisker plots looking like this, you can now interpret those box and whisker plots, and you can see just how much data is condensed into such a small diagram. They really do say a picture's worth 1,000 words, and in this case it really is an awful lot of data condensed using the maximum value, the minimum value, the median, the lower quartile and the upper quartile. With just a glance at the picture, you can see a great deal of information all in one go. Okay, I hope you found that video helpful. Don't forget to like, comment and subscribe, and if you are taking your GCSEs this year, I'd like to wish you all the best with your revision, all the best with your exams, and I'll see you in another video.